Hi everyone, in this video we're going to look at how to send emails using Python. So the first thing we'll have to do is set up some kind of an authentication process that will allow Python to send emails on our behalf. For the purpose of this video, I'll use Gmail, and the way this works with Gmail is by means of app passwords. So go to the following link, myaccount.google.com, and if you have more than one user, then it will show /u/3 here, and after the last slash just type app passwords. So the entire URL is this. I will put this in the description below. It's gonna ask you for your password again, and then you will get to this screen. So if you've generated any app passwords before, you'll see some entries here. What we want to do is go to the bottom and generate a new one. The app we'll use is email or mail, of course, and the device will be a Windows computer for now. I'm going to click generate. This generates an app password, which I am not going to show in the video. Just make sure that you copy the password and save it in a secure location. Now that we have set up the app password for our Gmail account, we can start working with Python. I'll start off by setting up the directory structure of our project. Inside the main project directory, I'm going to make two folders. One to store the attachments that we are going to send in the emails, and the other one to store the Python scripts. Anyone who has the app password to your Gmail can send emails on your behalf. Since I am going to be uploading this code to GitHub later on, I don't want the app password to get uploaded to GitHub. So what I am going to do is create a config.ini file which will include the app password and the sender's email, and I'm going to make sure that I don't upload that to GitHub. Let's open this up in VS Code. Let's just call this email, and then I'll define a couple of fields. The first one will be email sender, and the second one will be app password, or rather email app password. Now just make sure that you put the values as it is right here. For example, if the email is abc@gmail.com, you just have to put it like this. And make sure that you do not put this inside quotes, right? So it does not have to be in quotes. It just has to be like this without quotes. The same goes for the app password. I'm gonna put in my email and app password here, which I'm not gonna show in the video, and then I'm gonna save this file. Okay, I've updated my config file, and now we're back in the project's root directory. The next thing we'll do is set up our scripts. So inside the scripts folder, I'm going to make two new files. The first one will be main.py. We'll use this file to call the send email function, which is going to be defined in the email sender.py. Let's open this folder in VS Code and start editing our scripts. We'll work with the email sender script first, and we'll define a function that can take the email address, the subject, the body, and some attachment files of the email, and then send an email to the email address. But before we do any of that, we have to load up our config from the config.ini file. So import os, then I'm going to import from config parser, import config parser. Now see that we have the config file in the project's root folder, and we have the email sender.py script inside the scripts folder. So let's just get the path to the project's root directory first. So I'm just going to call this project dir equals os.path.dirname of file. This will be the path of the scripts folder. In order to get the path of the project's root directory, I'm going to have to call os.path.dirname once again on this path. Once that's done, we can get the path of the config file. Now we'll create an instance of the config parser and then load the config. Next, we will extract the two values, the sender's email address and the app password, from the config. Now that we have the email address and the app password, let's start working on our send email function. So I'm going to define a new function, send email, send not sned, send email, which will take the receiver, the subject, the body of the email as its parameters, and later we'll see how to add attachments as well. And now I'm going to use another Python module, email, to import a class called email message. So from email dot message import email message. I'll create an instance of email message. Email message equals email message, and then we'll set some fields. So the fields we're going to set is the sender, which would be from equals email sender, message to equals the receiver, and then we have email message subject equals subject, and finally we have email message body. Oh, I'm sorry, this is not body. Instead of referring to a key, we have to call a function dot set content, and in which we'll pass the body. Now we can continue on to sending our email, but before sending the email we should add some kind of encryption. We do this by using SSL. What exactly is SSL is beyond the scope of this video, but for now we can just think of it as a layer of encryption. At the top of the file I'm going to import two more things. So the first one would be import SSL, and the other one would be import smtplib. And by the way, all of these modules are built into Python, so you don't have to pip install any of these. Now we have to create a context for the SSL. I'm going to call this SSL context equals SSL dot create default context. And now with smtp lib dot smtp underscore ssl, our host is smtp.gmail.com, if I'm correct. Yeah, gmail.com. The port is 465, and our context is the SSL context we created above, and we'll just call this smtp. The first thing we'll have to do is login. So smtp.login email sender and email app password. Now we can send our mail. So this would be smtp dot send mail without any underscores, email sender receiver, and then email message dot as string. And once the email has been sent, we'll just print something to the console that notifies us that the email has indeed been sent. So print f email success fully sent to receiver. For now, that's all we have to do inside the email sender.py file. Let's import the send email function inside our main file and send some emails. So inside main.py, from email sender import send email, and if name equals main, let's create a few variables to store the receiver, the subject, the body, and then we can go on to send the emails. Equals to okay. Now let's just call the send email function. So this would be email receiver, email subject, and email body. Okay, that's it for our main file. Now let's open up a terminal and run the file. So inside the scripts folder, or maybe I should do this inside the project's main folder, I'm gonna do python scripts / main.py. And this usually takes a couple of seconds to send an email, but now I get the message printed that the email has been successfully sent. I've opened up my Gmail and we see that we have an email here. The next thing we're going to look at is how to attach files in our emails, and in fact that's the reason I created this attachments folder. Inside the attachments folder I have a file called resume.pdf. I'm not going to click on it because that will show a preview on the right. but it's a PDF file. It's a single page PDF file which we are going to attach in our emails. Let's go back to the email sender.py file. We want to make this function so that if we want to attach a file, we can pass in a file, and in case we don't want to attach a file, we can just call the function with these three parameters. For that, I'm going to define attachment file path as another parameter, and I'm going to give it a default value of none. Then after setting content, we can check if not attachment file path is none. So in case something has been passed into this parameter, well, we'll attach that file. So with open attachment file path RB, because we're going to read the file as binary, as attachment file. Now we want to get two things. We're going to get the file name. So file name equals os.path.basename attachment file path, and we want to get the file's content, which we can just get by calling the read method on the file object. Next we do email message dot add attachment, and we have the file content. We have main type equals application, subtype equals PDF, and finally we have the file name. Now note that I'm not sure about the main type, but I think that both of these fields are somehow related to the file format of the attached file. So I'm not sure about this, but please do look into this if you want to attach files of any other format. So this function will attach the file to our email message, and the rest of it remains the same. Now let's go back to our main.py file, and then we can add an attachment. So I'm going to do email underscore attachment equals os.path.join. This would be attachments and resume.pdf. And before I forget, we also have to import OS here, and also pass in the email attachment here. Now we go back to the terminal and run the main.py file again. It takes a couple of seconds. Let's see what we get. Email successfully sent to ... I go back to Gmail, and we see that we have another email, which this time also has an attachment called resume.pdf. That's all I have for this video. Now you can successfully send emails with Pythons. There will be a part 2 of this video in which we're gonna load the receiver email addresses from a CSV file and then send emails to all the addresses one by one. So please do subscribe, because that's something you're not gonna wanna miss, and please do like this video if you found it helpful, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you soon.